Alright, looks like we are live. Hello everyone, very good afternoon. I'm Grandmaster Kevin Go, and a very big welcome to the very first Yuhua online CSC Speed Chess Championships. And I hope you're doing very well, enjoying your weekend, and that you're going to enjoy a very special tournament that's upcoming. But before I go on, I'm just going to be introducing to you two very special guests that we have. And I'm just going to bring them into the Zoom call right now. So firstly, Mr. Goh Miao Guang, who is the chairman of Yuhua CSC um, Sports Club, and Dr. Ang Hak Singh, Deputy Secretary of MCCY. Very big welcome.
Hi. Hey, good afternoon, Kevin. Can you see me? I hope the picture is okay.
Yes, we can see you. We can see you fine.
Big
welcome.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you for inviting me to give the opening talk or opening address, but whatever is it, it's called a chit chat.
Yes, big welcome. Of course, we are very happy that you can spend some time with us today.
I just want to check. Today is the day of the competition, right?
Yeah, the tournament is actually starting in 20 minutes. So
okay, it's also the launching of the chess club, Yuhua Chess Club. Miao Kwang, is it?
Yes, that's right. So Kevin will invite you to declare the official launch of our chess club. So starting from every Saturday next week, we can actually have chess club members signing up, and then they can actually come and basically play chess and then mingle and bond and get to know each other better. So we have
excellent.
Yeah, we have a team of actually chess players. Actually, Kevin is our youngest grandmaster that we have in the past few decades. So he is leading a team, all right, to manage the chess club on our CSC's behalf because of his expertise lah. And also, actually, I myself in primary school I play chess also. so I got him to help, and then we decided that it's a good platform lah to give more options to our residents to come together. But of course, in view of SMM, we will be making sure that we register the participants first before letting them come. So we will group them in tents, and then they will come and play chess, and of course with some guidance from Kevin and his team. Actually, his team are all our national team chess players.
All right. Miao Kwang, after I've launched, do I need to stay?
No need, Dr. Ang. Actually, you can take your leave. Actually.
Actually, Dr. Ang, we are live, so you're addressing a live crowd of all the players and also the spectators watching this stream right now.
Oh, we are live, Wow,
yes.
Man,
we are live already.
And okay, Kevin, I'm very impressed. At your age, you are already the grandmaster. Why?
I mean, I'm not really exactly a spring chicken. Miao Guang was my teammate actually in primary school. We came from the same primary school. We studied at Boon Lay Primary, which is now merged with Jurong Primary, and of course Yuhua CC, which is very near the premises, is something that's very familiar to us. Yeah.
Indeed. And now, may I know where are you now, Kevin?
Now I'm working as the CFO of a precision medicine company specializing in cancer diagnostics.
Man, that okay. I want to share with you, my personal experience. I have a young son. I got two sons. My younger son also play chess. And I tell you, the personal story is that before he was playing chess, he's quite a good achiever. But after he started to play chess, and then he was actually playing chess also at the national team subsequently, I find that his mental capacity have expanded. In fact, not only have expanded, he actually helped him. I dare to say, help him to excel academically, because I can see the difference in terms of the academic performance after he played chess. So therefore, the reason why I asked, what are you doing? I try to prove a hypothesis that maybe one point is coincidental, two There may be something about chess. 3, I think there is a theory behind playing chess. So I'm impressed. Just like I'm impressed with Miao Guang, he's doing very well not only in JC, he's also doing well in the grassroots. Has been very active in supporting, making sure that we continue to engage our both senior and a young citizen. Very good.
Yeah, definitely, the benefits of playing chess is well documented, especially for young children in terms of, you
Mm.
know, the the discipline in building concentration, the ability to analyze, the ability to stay focused, working independently. Definitely, there are many benefits that chess can bring to actually not just to young people but for actually people of all ages. The late.
No, I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. Our biggest problem that we are facing today is mental health. Many of the seniors today, because of COVID-19, our advice is for them to stay at home to protect them. But when you stay at home and you do nothing, mentally not engaged, then it actually causes depression and problem. So playing chess is one way of keeping them engaged. So I fully agree with Kevin. Playing chess is not only for the young, it's also for the not so young and the young at heart, people like me.
Actually, yes. I think the late Lee Kuan Yew actually did mention that everybody should play chess and not dumb. I think that was the dumb as in checkers. I think that was a very famous quote that he actually mentioned on live TV, I believe. And also I think he mentioned that it's actually good for the senior citizens, the elderly, that it keeps their mind fresh, keeps them thinking. And yeah, definitely I think I cannot overstate and emphasize how much good chess can bring to people.
No, I fully agree. So Miao Guang, I'm very happy, Miao Guang, that you, Kevin, and a group of I know 20 of you all started this very interesting club, which is a club club, Chess Against COVID. My goodness, that's an interesting title. Indeed, it's a good way to fight COVID mentally, with very strong mental resilience. And I must congratulate Miao Guang, you and Kevin and the other 18 founders.
It's more Kevin and his team. Yeah.
Kevin. Yeah.
No, Mel Guang is super supportive of the whole initiative, and yeah, thankfully we were quite good teammates. I think at the past I didn't offend him, so and we have always kept in touch, even though he's a Liverpool fan, and but
And you are
Man United.
I see.
Since primary school.
But yeah, I see. But I can't help it by saying that even though two of you are really a tag team, you complement each other. You make sure that both of you come from the perspective. I see a lot of humility in both of you, and excellent.
Thank you.
That tell me that our future is secure.
Yeah.
With your taking over as a leadership, our future is secure.
Yeah, Doctor, you're getting a lot of love from the live stream. I think a lot of comments on Twitch, cheering for yourself and welcoming you to the chat.
Please send my thanks to to all the players and everybody who are involved in this movement, including the player of the tournament today.
Yeah, great. I think the lineup is extremely interesting. We have a lot of current national players. Our current Singapore national champion, international master Tin Jin Yao, leads the field together with the current Singapore women's champion, women grandmaster Gong Qianyuan. They are both in the field. They both want to win the top prize of $300 cash. Really gunning for it. So I think it's going to be a very exciting event.
Kevin, in this COVID-19 and a lot of things we cannot do. One thing definitely we cannot do is, as Miao Kwang will share, we cannot meet in big numbers. But do you see this as a problem, or do you see this as a challenge that indeed we can overcome? And I must say that I must give credit to two of you and the 18 and whoever and all the organizers. You see this not as a crisis, therefore can do nothing. You see this as a challenge to overcome, and you overcome by doing a chess competition virtually.
Yeah, I mean,
you think about. Continue, yes, please, Kevin.
No, I was trying to say actually chess is an excellent platform that you can play over the board. And you can also be played online on the internet and across borders. So yeah, I also want to mention that there are a few Singaporeans who are kind of stuck in lockdown overseas. I want to give a special mention to Grandmaster Wong Min Kong, our very first chess grandmaster. I think he's sort of stuck wherever he is, but he will be coming back very soon, I believe. And yeah, I think very pleased to have him with us today. And yeah, we also have very distinguished former national players, retired national players who are with us today, such as International Master Chan Ping Gong as well. So big shout out to them. We also have a lot of people who are here, studying here, whether you are working with us, who are working and contributing to the growth of Singapore. One of them is a very strong Iranian international master who is with us today. He's studying his PhD at NUS. Big shout out to you, International Master Nima. Yeah, I think it's really great, and really looking forward to starting this just to kick starting the tournament. And yeah, I also want to say that next week actually we will be officially opening up the chess club, as you know, Dr. Ang will announce soon. And then later on I'll be sort of explaining how we are going to go about sorting out the logistics.
I'm very impressed. You have attracted a very skillful chess master in today's competition. It will be very interesting to see how the sword cross, not only from Singapore, but from Singapore to Singaporean overseas, but also not forgetting our friends, our foreigner friends.
Mm-hmm.
Will be interesting.
Yep,
But will
definitely.
will be very exciting to see what will be the outcome of the competitions.
Yep, definitely. I'll be sure to keep you updated, and of course to Miao Kwang as well.
Yes. And Miao Kwang, from your backdrops, I can see that you're having a fine time at the beach resort.
As always, take time out to recharge our batteries.
I agree with you. Even though we cannot recharge overseas, or we cannot recharge going to the beach, who say we cannot recharge virtually, which is exactly what you're doing. You may be in the room, but your backdrop definitely is not in the room.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ang, I think we are about 6 to 7 minutes away from starting the event. Would you like to say something to the participants before we begin? Yeah.
Sure. I think let me I tell you something. Miao Kwang is very nice. Miao Kwang actually prepared something for me, but maybe I'll try to say, my brother and sisters, Kevin, Miao Kwang, and members of the CAC. I like the title, and that is Chess Against COVID Movement. Thank you for inviting me to give this short opening address. What really impressed me is that CAC is a ground-up movement by many people. But you have 20 founders, and I was surprised to see that some of your founders are as young as 10 years old. And that gives me a lot of confidence of the future, because this ground movement actually it means not only commitment, but it also means that the opportunity for you all to sort of exercise leadership, and exercising leadership at this young age speak volumes for us. I must say that this is a difficult times. We are now at phase 3 in Singapore. We're now at phase 3 of our COVID-19 battle. The battle is not over yet. Even though we have said that more people are allowed to gather from 5 to 8, but we're still encouraging our seniors, particularly 60 and above, to stay at home if when necessary, so that they can better protect themselves. But staying at home means that what do we do? So today you all organize the chess competition, and I think Kevin shared with me that this chess competition attract both the young, the not so young, and the young at heart. That's the senior citizen. Indeed, you know, can you imagine today there's no competition? What will we do, or what will I do? Well, a simple thing for us to do when there's nothing to do is to watch TV lah. But when we start watching TV and keep watching TV, and you know that TV is one way, actually the mentally is not very good. And therefore, it's not surprisingly that the biggest challenge we have today, because of COVID-19, is mental health. And one way to fight mental health is to keep the mind engaged, is to have a mental exercise. And guess what? Playing chess is an excellent way of doing mental exercise. Because in order to play chess, first what must you do? You must be able to size up what is your move. You must then over to size up what is your opponent move. But not only that, you know, you need to size up at least 3 to 4 steps ahead. That actually require you to move and think at the same time. Well, that's the best way to sharpen the mind. And I think there are other advantages of playing chess. As I share with you, personally, I find that from what I observe, playing chess actually expand the mental capacity of a person. So to my young brothers and sisters, playing chess, because it expands your mental capacity, it actually can help you academically. And for not so young, playing chess, you see Kevin, you hear who is he, what is he, you see Miao Guang, you see where is he, you will realize that actually, I mean, two of them has spoken just now. I'm quite sure you are much more impressed with them than with me. Okay. Why? Because I think they speak with some what I call intellectual aura. And that's the power of playing chess. And for people like me who is young at heart, I'm trying to play chess. I must confess, I play Chinese chess, I confess. One day I must go and learn international chess too. It's a way of keeping me engaged and keeping my mind sharp. You know, like a pencil, you must continue to sharpen it. Otherwise, when it's blunt, or worse, when the lead gets broken, that's it, you know. So, and that's important of today's competition. I must also say that this movement, I must thank the sponsors. There are 2 sponsors in particular I must thank. One is Joseph Lim, the other one is Chang Jie, for your generous donation.
Yeah, Doctor,
not only you.
Small, yeah. Actually, his name is Joshua Lim. Joshua Lim. I think maybe you have misread the.
Oh, yeah. Joshua, sorry lah. You know the print is so small. Joshua Lim and Chang Jie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for not only supporting the chess competition, for supporting the CSC, but I understand that you also support one of our charities, and that is our Lakeside Family Service Center. Thank you very much. Not only from me, as you know that previously I was the Commissioner of Charities. I still now lead the SGCare movement in promoting philanthropy And I think definitely what he has given back to the society is much appreciated. So my brother and sisters, I'm happy that today, Miao Guang just sent me a update. There are 150 of you competing not only within Singapore, but as Kevin has shared with me, also across the border. And not only among brother and sister Singaporeans, but also our friends, our brother and sister, our foreign brother and sisters. And today, our competitors are formidable. They are past grandmaster, and would-be grandmaster. My goodness, I can tell you the competition is fast and furious. Therefore, the amount of mental energy, mental exercise today is tremendous. I must also very happy to hear from Miao Guang that today you all have intention also to launch the Yuhua Chess Club. And that is where I think the CSC can actually play a very important role, have a good synergy with the Yuhua Chess Club. Because what you have is not only a competition, but you all, through your generosity, are prepared to share your secret move. Like Kung Fu Master, Kung Fu Master always keep their secret move, but you are prepared to share. And that is what it's all about. You're going to conduct coaching sessions, lecture sessions on chess. And I know that this will benefit many, many residents, young, not so young, young at heart, for Yuhua residents. So once again, thanks Kevin, thank Miao Guang, and thank all of you for organizing these competitions, and more importantly, for also undertake the responsibility to continue to enable us to do mental exercise through your Yuhua Chess Club. And on behalf of many residents in Singapore, and particularly on the behalf of Yuhua resident, I say thank you, and you have a good competition today. Thank you. Kevin, hand over to you.
Thank you,
Dr. Ang.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ang.
Thank you, Miao Guang.
All right, so without further ado, we would like to invite Dr. Ang just to officially announce that Yuhua Chess Club is officially in action, and we will start next Saturday.
So do you want me to say, I hereby declare, or do you have something for me to launch?
I'm sure you will be creative in your own way.
All right, I virtually, right, I can only do this. I hereby declare the Yuhua Chess Club officially open. Well done.
Thank you.
For two times.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ang.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
Thanks, Dr. Ang.
Thanks very much, Miao Guang. Thanks very much, Dr. Ang, for your time. Cheers.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. Miao Guang, you keep me posted on the outcome of the competition.
Sure, Dr. Ang. We'll let you know the results.
Okay. All right, Kevin, I hope to have coffee with you one day.
Yeah, sure.
Together with Miao Guang.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thank you. Have
He's
a good
part
day.
of the Yuhua family already.
Hey, very good. Miao Guang.
He used to be our Yuhua resident also, for your information.
Even
Dr.
better.
Ang.
So there is an emotional connection.
Yeah, definitely.
很好. I think we should also have a coffee with the advisor, Minister Graceful. So
Yes,
have a good day, have a
definitely.
good competition.
Thank
Okay.
you.
See you,
Enjoy
Dr.
your
Ang.
weekend. Enjoy your
Enjoy your
weekend.
weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Miao Guang.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so that's Deputy Secretary of MCCY, Dr. An Yak Singh, with us, and now we are back to the chess, and I think that the tournament has already started. Moving on, I'll be trying to sort of explain some of the details, such as prizes, such as the the rules of the event as it goes on. But first, I really want to jump straight into a very interesting game that's ongoing right now. So the game between International Master Nima Javan Bak, who actually is the aforementioned PhD student studying with NUS right now, and he's playing against Incognito V5. I will have to take some time to see. Yeah, Aiden Ong Wei Sheng, a very young player, 14 years of age. Yeah, what I just played. Knight e5 to c6, and now it looks like there's something wrong with the arrows. Can't quite up it. Now it works. Yeah, now white is a piece up. So, but before that, it seems like the position was a little bit unclear. Now bishop takes c5, and he would be in very good shape. I think 2 pawns and a piece up. So it looks like Nima is going to win this game. Yeah, but because for a while I saw that Nima's time was running down. So the time control of this tournament is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment starting from move 1. So every time you make a move, you add 2 seconds to your time. But as somebody who has played this time control for as long as I can remember, let me assure you that this time control is very, very fast, and very soon you will see players in time trouble, and that's when the real excitement kicks in. So let's go back and see whether there are any other games that's interesting. So let's take a look at this one. Seems that I can't quite click this open. Okay, game is over. So taking the black pieces in this game is FIDE Master Daniel Chan, former national player. I think he's actually a one-time Singapore national champion. Also represented Singapore in a few national events before. 3 international master norms, I believe. And the last time I spoke to him, he was based in Melbourne. I'm not sure whether he's still there. Probably he is. So great to see him with us. So we can see that the standings right now. As mentioned earlier, we have a group of really prominent players. We have IM Liu Xiangyi, one-time Singapore national champion. We have Siddharth Jagadish, FIDE Master 1IM norm. Recently he did very well at the Singapore Nationals, finishing 2nd in his first representation. So great to see him playing. Woman Grandmaster Gong Qianyun, that's her, and Lee Sherry. And then a very special guest, the famous infectious diseases physician, commonly known as the legend, Dr. Su Liang, who has kindly chosen to spend his Saturday afternoon playing some blades to support us. Yep, so we can still see Nima's game going on. Oh, that's interesting. Now I see that. Yeah, Tin Jingyao is taking black in this game, and okay, he's going to win this game. But yeah, rather surprisingly, he needed to work quite hard to win this game. Because normally in the first round, you expect to sort of have an easier time as compared to the rest of the, as the tournament goes on, normally it gets a bit tougher. So Jingyao is our current Singapore national champion and also the #1 player. I believe on the January rating list, he's going to be the #1 player. He scored a phenomenal 9 out of 9 at the national championships. I think probably never done before. So great to see him here with us. Though his rating is a little bit low for him, I expected him to be like 2700 on Lee Chess. Yeah. So we can see that the games are slowly finishing. We have 4 games left, and I think it's probably a good time to talk about the prizes. And right, firstly, I'm seeing that there's a lot of chat going on. So guys, when you're on the Chess chat room, I don't know if you're watching this, but please be civil, be friendly to each other. Okay, yeah. Anyways, let me jump straight into some of the prizes. I think that's one of the most interesting things that everyone would want to know. So I'm going to bring that out on the chat. Give me a second. Looks like it doesn't work. So let me bring that up very quickly. Yeah, so as you can see, the first prize in the open category, we actually have two very big shout out to Tang Jie and Joshua, who Dr. Ang has mentioned earlier, who kindly sponsored the event together with, of course, Yuhua CC. So combining the efforts of all three, all the parties, we have a very decent prize fund actually for an internet blitz tournament. So the champion of this tournament will get $300 cash with trophies. Second 250, third 200. So the top 5 in the open category will receive cash prizes, and then from 6 to 15 you'll get capital land vouchers. And then we have 6 prizes for the women category, cash prizes as well, trophies for the top 3, and then for our seniors, our veteran players, we will have 5 prizes, cash, and trophies for the top 3. And then we also have very attractive age group prizes from under 20, under 16, under 14, under 12, and under 10. So I think the price list differs a little bit from what we announced earlier, and that was because we sort of went through the entire player list, and then we thought this categorization makes the most sense for everyone. And yeah, big thank you once again to the sponsors. And before jumping back to the chess, I think we are waiting for the next round to start. I want to give a big shout out to my colleagues from Chess Against COVID. A few of them have been working very hard in the background. I just want to give a big shout out to them. Madam Lim Pexia, I know, spending a lot of time coordinating with Yuhua, designing the posters for us. The arbiters for today, led by FIDE Master Ashwin Sivakumar. All the coordination work in making sure the players are logged on safely on the platform on time. Mr. Jagadish, parent volunteer and also a FIDE instructor, one of the arbiters as well, and Mr. Xiao Yongli, a former national player actually, and he has also kindly offered his time. So big shout out to my colleagues from Chess Against COVID. So there's going to be a 3 minutes break in between rounds. So if you need to go to the washroom, 3 minutes should be more than enough, I hope. So typically they will wait until the last game is finished before they start the 3 minutes break in between. And unlike usual tournaments, you are not able to see your pairings yet, so you just have got to wait at the tournament hall. And once the countdown, as you can see on the screen, once it goes down to 0, you get to, and then the game starts straight away. You will see your opponents. Yep. So looking at the standings right now, it's early days. The whole tournament is 11 rounds, Swiss format. The action will start to, generally for these tournaments, the action really starts to kick in from about round 4 to 5, and that's where all the top guns will start playing each other. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, we have about 100 viewers. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and for those of you following on Facebook, just just to let you know that I'm not really monitoring the chat there. So if you are saying something there, I may not be able to see it. So we are 1 minute to start. Yeah, a very important thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that the prizes have to be collected in person, and that you need to go down to Yuhua CC to collect, and Yuhua CC is located at 90 Boon Lay Way. But these days everybody can Google Map, right? So it's a very nice building, you know, architecturally one of the more specially designed community centers, I have to say. But as I understand, I think it's also going to be moved maybe in 4 to 5 years. So we are 5 seconds away from the next round. Alright, round 2 has started. So let's go. So I can't cover every single game, but I'll try to cover, as many games as I can that are featured on the top boards, and I'll try not to give too much coverage on the same players. So on board 1, if there's something wrong with the screen, just give me a mention on the channel so that I can make any amendments. Yeah, so we are looking at a Sicilian Sveshnikov, a very topical opening that is commonly played these days by the world champion Magnus Carlsen, who used it to tremendous effect in recent years. It's also a huge favourite of Boris Gelfand in his world championship match with Vishyanan. So a very topical standard Sveshnikov, where white typically tries to control the center, especially at d5 square, and this maneuver where the knight travelled quite extensively from g1 to f3 to d4, b5, a3, c2, and now finally to e3, sort of reinforces that the emphasis on the d5 square. Yep, I think the position is probably fine for both players. Nothing much going on. Black wants to initiate some play on the queen side. So the rook is very nicely placed on b8, supporting the b5 to b4 pawn push, and then if ever the c pawn, whether it pushes to c4 or captures on b4, potentially this knight can then get some adventures on the d4 square. So bishop g4 plate, g6, probably with the idea of playing f5, get some play on the king side. I think one thing I really like about the Sveshnikov is that there's always a lot of play on both the king side and the queen side going on at the same time. So you get fire on on virtually the entire board. So right now, I should mention, if white captures on e6, seemingly giving black doubled pawns, after f takes e6, this knight is actually trapped. Like, he has nowhere to go, and this will be a terrible mistake for white because he will be losing a piece by force. So I think it's really important that in chess, whenever you make a move, intuitively it might look good, but you have to consider whether what's your next move after black's response. You need to anticipate what black can do, and then consider whether you have good response in return. So queen d3, I think it looks like a very sensible move as well. He's probably going to play rook a d1, supporting the d5 knight, and putting pressure on the backward pawn. So a backward pawn, so d6 is a backward pawn. And a backward pawn is a pawn that cannot be defended by its neighboring pawns. So it's not an isolated pawn because he has a friend on e5, but it it is backward as in it's kind of, it cannot be defended by another pawn, and the typical way to put pressure on it is to control the square in front of it. So queen d7 played, bishop e2. Now white has to, black has to be a bit careful of like tricks like knight to f6, which forks the black king and queen. So for instance, white could have some ideas like g3, f4, attacking this bishop. The bishop goes, knight comes to f6 and wins the queen. Okay, so black very smartly gets out of the way. So c4. I'm not so sure about this move because like I mentioned earlier, now it gives up control over the d4 square. So firstly, I think black can try a couple of things. Perhaps f5, perhaps knight to d4. But firstly, black has to decide what to do with this tension going on, which he resolves by pushing the pawn, controlling more dark squares. There potentially could be an interesting maneuver. The bishop can come to d8, followed by bishop b6, which could be a more useful diagonal for the bishop actually, because controls some really nice dark squares. Yeah, so long term wise, this bishop actually belongs to this diagonal. Wow, g4? Not a fan of this move. I think it's too weakening. I'm not sure whether this is a mouse slip. Maybe he wanted to play g3 and accidentally place his mouse on the g4 square. But feels like g3 would have been better. So g4 is just weakens the dark squares far too much, and also allows black to break up the king side with a timely pawn push, say f7 to f5, and once pawns are exchanged on f5, this king could become weak. The rook comes to g8. Yeah, I think the position is quite promising for black at this point. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Let's take a look at some of the other games. So let's check out this game. A game played by Haresh35. Once again, I need a bit of time. So that's, wow, 9-year-old Haresh Venkata. 9-year-old boy. Big shout out to you. Taking the white pieces here. Playing against, Medhansh. Sorry if I get your name wrong. Yeah. Medhansh Bhatia, 13-year-old boy. So a 9-year-old boy playing against a 13-year-old boy. Playing a very interesting game. Yeah, this position looks crazy to me. Like at first glance, I prefer white because the black king is just a bit more vulnerable. But at the same time, I don't really quite see how this can be exploited for a time being. Okay, right now there's this move knight takes d6, but okay, both players are in severe time trouble now, like 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. So white has to go fast. Only move queen to e3, getting out of the way. h3 played. Now if g3, knight to g2, forking the queen and the rook. He's going to run out of time. Wow, gh3 with 2 seconds left. Squeaky bum time, guys. Now knight to g2 is a big threat. Queen to f3 played, avoiding knight to g2. Very good move. Black should play, yeah, queen g7, king here. Maybe queen g2 could be good. Queen g2, knight g2. Rook to g1, king c7 perhaps to bring the other rook here. Now the boy is really impressing me with his composure right now. Like he's playing good moves in severe time trouble. Now d6 hangs. He wins the pawn. Great job. Knight to c4. Ah no, now he blundered the knight. The game is over. Now black just needs to be very careful and consolidate, and he will win this game. Yeah, but really unfortunate. I think at the moment where black played rook d8 attacking the knight, I think he could have retreated, and the game goes on. So black wins this game, but huge credit to both players. Let's go back and see whether there are any other games. So let's take a look at this one where both players are down to, yeah, so black appears to be winning, so many pawns, but okay, 10 seconds, anything can happen. White needs to come to b7, take this pawn, and somehow hope for a miracle that his a pawn promotes, but I don't see it because the black pawns. Yeah, f3 I didn't like, maybe rook h2 earlier on, but okay, 10 seconds left. e3 now, threatening rook h1. Now rook to g2. Rook to g2 would win on the spot. Yep. e2 check. King e1, rook g1, and promotes, and the game is over. That's it. Yeah, black wins this game by force. So let's go back to the main hall. ES99. Okay, this game is more or less over. He just needs to make sure that there's no chance of a stalemate here, which can happen, you know. I've seen worse. Yeah, because when you have so much material in blitz, especially, sometimes stalemate can happen, but not in this case. So we have two games left, and right now, yeah, we can see that the usual suspects are leading the tournament. Awesome 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see who this chap is. Awesome 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Rahul Lakshmi, 14 years of age. What kind of tournament is this? Chess. Dire Promise, that's Liu Xiangyi. Dinosaur King, not so familiar. Marcus Chen, 17 years of age. Promising, one of our best promising young players. Siddharth Jagadish, Gong Qianyun, and yeah. So still early days. Round 3 will start in 3 minutes. Yeah, not quite sure how this tie breaks works actually, but well, we'll see. So let's take a look. So Grandmaster Wong Ming Kong, he has drawn his second game. Let's take a look at what happened in the game. Not sure whether it's possible to see. Yeah, if I click this. Me Bobby says 14 years old and 2000 rating. Yeah, you know, it's these days it's not really that uncommon, isn't it? So an interesting Pierce defense. Yeah, black is playing really aggressively here with g5 and then d5 counter striking in the center. Yeah, I probably wouldn't handle this, you know, this position like this. I'll probably be a little bit more chill, you know, taking it easy, slowly building up my position. But Meng Kong is in an aggressive mood. So Vertonghen, very familiar name actually. Vertonghen. Yeah, Yeah, for some reason I don't see his name on there, but definitely he's somebody who has played in one of our events before. Very familiar, but I don't see him on the on the list. Very strange. Ah, Yixiang. Sorry, man. So for some reason you're not on the list. Yeah, so knight c6, rook e1, bishop g4, h3. Yeah, I'm not very certain that these exchanges makes a lot of sense for black. Alright, the next game has already started, so we'll take a break from that. Let's continue following Grandmaster Wong for one game. E4, e6, b3. Yeah, that's Meng Kong for you. Like he enjoys playing stuff like this. You know, he's never been big on theory. He likes to play, sort of a little bit quirky kind of opening lines. It can work very well if it takes your opponent by surprise. Knight to e4, castles. Yeah, this is one of these annoying lines. So I play the French defense myself, yeah, and this is one of those lines that I never really could figure out what exactly to do. Yeah, a5 is kind of typical, I believe. So he wants to go a4, getting some space on the queen side, and then maybe combining it with some knight to b4. So white might stop a5 to a4 with a4 himself, and then he goes knight b4. But Meng Kong prevents it by playing a3, which I don't know, it makes sense, but I tend to get a little bit worried about things like after black goes a4, white responds with b4, and then eventually he can try to push c7 to c5 to break up the queen side, and given that white's king resides on the queen side right now, he might be a little bit airy with the cover being blown away like this. So I think generally in these positions, white has to start attacking on the king side, and it's generally a race on these opposite side castling sort of positions. So king to b1 probably is a safe move, very typical, tucking the king back to safety. Knight to c3. And black sacrifices on b4. Very, very ferocious play by black. Let's take a look who his opponent is. M Chess 06. M Chess 6. Morgan Chen. 12 years of age. Fantastic. Biological one says hi. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, white has somewhat stabilized the position for the time being, but I'm a little bit afraid of things like b5, b4, a3, etc., which maybe objectively may not be that devastating, but still white has to be precise. And in blitz, it's a little bit, it's always easier to defend when the time control is a bit more generous. So in blitz, it's always a better idea to try to put your opponent under pressure and attack him. So Meng Kong plays h4, very interesting, getting his fighting fire with fire. Maybe with ideas like rook h3 to g3, putting pressure on the g7 pawn, and then utilizing this monster of the bishop on b2. So knight to g5 played. Ideas like queen to e4, putting pressure on h7. Now, superficially it looks like black can play bishop takes g5, and after hg, queen g5 wins a pawn, but it opens up the h file. Yeah, I don't know about bishop takes a3. On one hand, it does gain. Oh wait, hang on a second. Like, do we have queen e4? Oh no, there's f5. Yeah, that doesn't work. Or maybe you could have played bishop takes b4, knight takes b4, and queen to e4 with a double attack. Not sure. Very complicated. No, now I quite like White's position. Strangely enough. So AB3, the king is a little bit airy, but for the time being, the bishop sort of holds everything together. A3 plate. Yeah, I think White is probably just winning now, but there's practical chances for Black certainly, because the king is still not quite safe. Queen B6, threatening this, maybe some bishop E6. This rook comes to B8 and with nasty intentions. Now definitely Queen D3 has to be played, yeah? You have to play Queen D3. Okay, this is good also. So the point is after F5, White plays Queen D4, attacking the queen and the G7 pawn concurrently, utilizing the very strong bishop on A1, which overlooks the entire, the longest diagonal on the board. Yeah, now Queen D4, yes, you force the exchange of queens and the game is over because White is a piece up. There's no more attack once the queens are off. Now king to B2. The bishop comes to C4, pawn goes to H5, opening up the H file. Yeah, the game is for all intents and purposes, it's probably over now. So I think what Black, the really critical error, I wouldn't say is the sacrifice of the piece on B4 but it's more of being alert to the fact that you really should try to you have to make sure that you keep your queens on, because if once the queens are off, you go to an endgame, you just have no chance because the material imbalance is just too big. Now bishop D3, yeah. And the rook to D5, attacking the knight and the bishop, you go B4. Life is good. Threatening bishop C4 and taking the rook. Okay, bishop C4 now. And White wins. Yeah, but for the first 20 to 25 moves, the game is actually quite even. So kudos to the young player for putting some pressure on our first grandmaster. So let's go back to the tournament hall. Let's see what's going on the board, on the first board. So Gong Qianyun, Black against Uncle Leo the novice. Who is Uncle Leo the novice? Liner Ney. Yeah, with the bishop pair in this position, Qianyun is completely in her element now. So now there is the idea of going here. Yeah, bishop takes F5. The pawn is pinned because can't be captured because he loses his queen as a result. No, but it's actually still not that clear, to be honest. Like position is not winning. It just looks very promising. Yeah, but now that White can go knight F3. Now I think Qianyun has made a huge mistake here. Like, because now the queen doesn't have a good square to go to. Maybe to H6. Yeah, maybe H6. Because now, and if queen takes G3, bishop takes F3, and then D2 hangs. Queen takes D2. Queen H5, but now queen takes G3. Rook takes E4 probably. Okay, this is also still very dangerous for White now. With 2 seconds, it's impossible to defend this, I think. White needs a miracle. No, but I have to say that, but Qianyun herself is running out of time. Yeah, so very exciting game. 7 seconds left. Bishop D7, very nice move. Threatening rook to G4. Queen G6, Queen H2, Queen G6. Again with the idea going here. Now there's rook takes F7. Now it's over. Now it's over. He blundered a piece with Queen H3. Rook takes and then bishop D4 and that's it. That's it. Wow, nice game by Uncle Leo. But I mean, earlier on, it's really not that clear, you know. Like after Queen takes G3, so I was. Let's go to the analysis board. Yeah, I was trying to say that after. Yeah, here I thought maybe Queen H6, and there's no Queen take G3 because I go here and then this rook gets picked up. But okay, even after this, Queen takes G3, Rook takes E4, Rook F2. Yeah, it's definitely black is for choice because his bishops are really playing and these pawns are right for picking. But okay, there's still some play. You know, there's some Rook takes F7 somewhere. I think. So for example, here, Rook takes F7, Queen takes H4, Rook takes D7. So for example, yeah, Rook takes D7. Wow. Takes. I mean, there's even bishop takes G2. Bishop takes E4. I mean, bishop G2 takes E4. Oh, but maybe this doesn't work. Yeah, there's bishop D4 check. Yeah, I was thinking maybe this, but there's a check here, a very important intermediate move that forces the king to a light square, and after which I pick up this piece with check. But even this is not so, you know, not that straightforward. Yeah, but here I guess the main thing to do is to just take, and take. Oh, but there's bishop d4. Yeah, there's bishop d4, and black should still win this. Wow. Okay, but very nice game. I mean, with 10 seconds running down. Okay, let's go back to the main hall. Still some games going on, I think. So Rodka 247 playing against Dragon 58. Yeah, okay, black's gonna win this. Okay, all the games are over. The standings, as we can see, we have a few players on 3 out of 3. 14 players on 3 out of 3. And interestingly enough, like Jin Yao's tiebreaks and Ian Su Liang's tiebreaks are at the bottom, but okay, still really early days. 14 players. Let's take a look who's in the list. Jaden06. There are a few Jadens, young players who are called Jaden. So let me see which one this is. Jaden Wong, 15 years of age. I think I played some bullet matches with him, and I told myself never to do it again. Dire Promise, that's Liu Xiangyi. Dinosaur King, I think I mentioned him earlier. Yes, Marcus Chen, Siddharth, Qian Yun, Chess Matic 001. Chess Matic. Oh, Roberto Suelo. A very popular Filipino trainer and player who's based in Singapore. So I've played many games with him myself. So I actually sent him a text to make him play this event. So pretty good to see him playing. Him doing well on 3 out of 3. Purple Espion. Andrian Susilo. Yeah, so Andrian, FIDE Master from Indonesia. Also, he's working in Singapore right now. Very active in the local chess scene. So great to see him playing. These guys should go and get their titles, you know, given to them, attached, affixed to their username. Liu Li, 51. Deng Tianle. Yeah, also a very promising young player. I believe I've played him once, right? I think in a recent open tournament, I think in Singapore. Dragon 58. Yeah, for some reason I think the Zoom meeting ended for whatever reason. Well, okay, moving on. Next round is starting. Alright, let's go. Board 1, Gong Qianlin against Jaden Wong. Let's take a look at that one. Jasper says good afternoon, Kevin. Nice to see you back. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's been a while actually. These days I haven't managed to find time to do this, and very excited with this to get back to streaming. Yeah, the modern defense. Alright, I think Qianlin is in some kind of trouble here, because I think this is exactly what you should not be doing in this line. Because now White's pawn structure is severely fractured, and he's a pawn up, he has the bishop pair, but she has to find a very precise way to sort of nurse that advantage. Now knight takes d2, queen takes d2, queen takes c5, and black is just much better because white's pawns are just so bad. So for like 100%, white is in trouble here. Queen c5, knight f3, knight c6. We have about 50 viewers here, so thanks very much to those tuning in. Okay, so now white is just a pawn down, like, with no compensation. Yeah, I can sense a huge upset is on the cards right now, because it is not just it's not just about the material imbalance. It's not just about being a pawn down. I think the problem with white's position is that there is very little avenue for her to find play in this position, because a lot of pieces have been exchanged and there is no real way to sort of imbalance the position to get practical chances. Because first of all, I don't see how white can ever launch an attack on the king side. And secondly, black's king is really safe on g8, and he has a really good pawn structure. So I think Qianlin is really up against it now. She has to defend well, and take her chances when it comes. Maybe in time trouble. So the c3 pawn is a huge target, and black will definitely be rook c8 once it's safe to do so. Is this Jaden Wong? Yes, that's Jaden Wong taking black. Rook to c8. Now threatening knight takes d4, c takes d4, and queen takes c2, winning a second pawn. Yeah, nothing much really works. I wanted to try to make rook b5 work, but queen to a3. And the weaknesses don't go away. They are still there. So rook b5, queen to a3, rook to g5, for example, and then there's knight takes d4, and then one of these pawns falls off. Rook b5 played. I think she's going to go rook g5, because I think you have to try something like that. Queen takes a2. I think, because if I'm Qianlin right now, I would take the draw, like queen c5, rook b5, and then if black wants a draw, I'll probably take it, because this position is really dangerous for white right now. And also she's a minute down on the clock. It's a really long tournament. You don't want to lose the game so early in the event. Yeah, I think definitely you have to go rook b5 right now. But yeah, queen takes a2. This is a tough position, man. Just no counterplay at all. Go rook g5 and then hope for the best. You have to, right? Like, what else is there to do? I'm not going to read that out. Yeah, now knight takes d4, queen d4, queen takes c2, with another double attack, c3 and both c3 and the c3 pawn and the bishop are under attack. Why is it not a United jersey? It's a Singapore shirt, man. So as much as my allegiance to Man United, as much as the strength of that loyalty is, you cannot beat the Singapore flag. Queen a4, very interesting move. Actually, it forces the exchange of queens. The queen on a4 is defended by the bishop. If not, bishop takes f7 will just win outright the discover attack on the queen. So I'm pretty sure black. Wait, what? What? No. She just yeah. I think she just had a brain freeze. Now the game is essentially over. Or maybe she wanted to keep queens on, and this was her way to keep chances, because exchanging queens will also be very bad. Yeah, certainly black is winning this game. Queen to e4. Yep. Black is playing really strongly. Rook to d1. Queen comes to e1 and so on. Yeah, he just has to keep his cool right now, and he should win this quite comfortably. Yeah, he's still keeping control of the position, not really allowing anything, and slowly but very patiently pushing his a-pawn down the board. Yeah, but at some point he will have to do something like concrete. Like, he can't admire his position forever. So now f4 is dropping. He can't really defend. She can't defend it because c3 is also hanging. King g7, very mature move, just getting out of the way, improving the king's position a little bit. Now a2, possibly. Lachini has gotten a little bit here, but it's not much. It's really not much. Now this is... Now queen g1, king h4, and h6 maybe. Now queen g1 and the game is over, because now I change everything, rook f5 and the game is over. White can resign this. Wow, really well played by Jaden. Congratulations, beating one of the favorites for this event. And we have a heavyweight clash. We have to see this. This is between Liu Xiangyi and Tin Jingyao. 15 seconds against 6 seconds. So black has 3 pawns and a rook versus two minor pieces. So in any normal situation, black wins this, because the pawns would be too strong. But time trouble, the knight is tricky. Bishop e3 plate. King f5. Knight has to come back to c4, I think, but a4, and yeah, very difficult position for white. So Jing Yao is really hanging on here. a4, knight b6. Maybe he wins this pawn right now. Yeah, very well played. Rook to c2, king d2. No, this is a mistake. c2 is a mistake. Now bishop b2. Now I think black has messed it up. Or maybe not. I don't know. Just so many pawns, man. So many pawns distracting the king and the pieces. He just keeps pushing. King e4, surely. You have to bring your king in. Rook a3, only move. Play it, come on. Oh! Nice. But, wait. So this might be a draw actually. Oh no, okay, rook e3 was very strong. Because now black will win this. Because he'll bring his king, support the pawn. Yeah, king c4. Yeah, black wins this now by force. Very, very well played. Very, very nicely converted by Xiang Yi. And under severe time trouble at that. So I had a very similar position. I think against a young Indonesian player. Get exactly the same situation with a pawn and the rook against a knight. So for sure this is winning. But I don't like the way Xiang Yi has conducted it so far. He should win this deal. But it's already a little bit... Okay, now king to b5. Wait, what? Oh my god. What a win. No way. Wow. Very fortunate win for Jing Yao. Yeah, of course king to b5 and wins. Wow. And the reason why this is ruled as a win for white, even though there's it's just a knight against the rook, is because it is still possible to create a mating position. As ridiculous as it is, it's still possible to do so. Wow, very, very unfortunate. Okay, let's head back. Okay, the next round will start in 2 minutes. So Jaden Wong remains at the top, together with Siddharth, Marcus, Jing Yao, Adrian, Liang, Suelo, and then followed by 2 players, Aaron Lim and Wong Ming Kong, Grandmaster Wong Ming Kong on 3.5. Sorry for that. That was a little bit loud. Should have muted the sound. Let me see how I can do that. Settings. Right, done. Okay, we can see that the leaders have narrowed to 7 players. We probably will see a sole leader in about 2 to 3 in 2 to 3 games, 2 to 3 rounds. Next round starting in 20 seconds. The chat room is really crazy. It's just going on and on. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to post math puzzles on the stream very soon. All right, on board one, we have a exciting game in prospect. Siddharth Jagadish playing against Dr. Suliyang. We see a London. So back in 2000, I think it was in 2018 or 2019, I was experimenting a lot with the London system myself, and I played a lot of training games with Liang. So he definitely knows a lot about this position. But Sida seems to know what he's doing. Like he's blitzing his moves quickly. Normally it's a clear sign that he's still in his opening preparation. So White has gotten the bishop pair. Black has a very solid structure and some prospects to play down the long diagonal with the bishop. I suppose White also have a kingside attack in prospect, maybe with h4, knight to g5, but Siddharth doesn't want to have anything to do with that. He castles short and plays solidly. So this is going to be a long game. Knight f8. So Liang is a very classical player. He just puts his pieces on good squares. I know that we always say that he plays ugly chess, but that's only in certain circumstances. In general, he puts his pieces on good squares. His structurally, his structures are always sound. No weaknesses. Yeah, and we get the same type of something that's very typical of Liang style. Very nice pawn structure, pieces on good squares, queen on c7, rooks coming to d8 very soon. Yeah, he seems he's doing very well. That's for sure. I'm not saying he's better or anything like that, but he's fine. So is White. Okay, I mean White, he's probably going to go f4, f5, going crazy now on the king side. h6 plate. Oh, knight takes e6. I think he blundered this. That's really strange. Liang generally doesn't blunder like this anyways. But wait, is that queen c6? Queen c6. No, White blundered, not black. Queen c6, and now this double attack is devastating. White can resign. Oh, but wait, maybe f4? So f4, queen takes e6, f5, yeah? Oh man, he misses it. He missed it. He missed f4. Or did I miss something? f4, queen e6, f5. At least you win the piece back and you're not a full piece down, yeah? So I think what happened was he played knight takes e6, he overlooked queen c6, and then probably that unsettled him a little bit. And so he rushed into this decision with bishop e4. Ah, f4 just take with pawn. No, that's why I'm not playing. Thanks for pointing it out. Yeah, okay, so now this position is it's just over, I think. It's just hopeless for White. Absolutely no compensation for the material deficit. Thanks, Infinity Bot. I hope nobody clipped that. Don't clip that. Knight d7 to c5 would be a nice consolidating maneuver, reinforcing the d3 bishop. Yeah, nasty, very nasty blunder. b5 for sure. Rook e6 would be a nice move, I think. Wow, just take. Yeah, brutally. It's not afraid of ghosts, because after f4 there's bishop c2. It's just nothing. And then followed by knight d3. I expect white to resign now. Like, regardless whether this is a blitz game or not, I think there's just no chances left. Yep, white resigns. A big win by Dr. Su. Jaden is continuing to roll. But let's take a look at what's going on between Adrian and Jing Yao. Wow, what a crazy position, man. But it feels like I mean, on the surface I prefer white, just because his king is a bit safer. But the rook on e6 is doing a great job, because after any form of checks down the g file, I can block with rook g6. But still looks very dangerous for black in my opinion. The only thing that's stopping white from winning on the spot, right, is okay. Like for example here, there's an idea to go queen to b4 to give a check on b8, still covering the e1 square. But queen b4, queen c2, yeah, okay. Something strange going on. Just let me go and check it out. Give me a second, guys. I'll be back. I'll be back in very quickly in 10 seconds. Strange going on. Alright, Adrian in now severe time trouble. 10 seconds left. Position still seems very unclear though, but maybe black is already out of trouble, since his queen is really active. The rook is active here as well. Rook to e4, blocking the queen. Can I take on h5? Queen c3, threatening queen f6. Queen to e5, well played. Queen to d2, now attacking this pawn. Still very complicated, anything can happen. Oh, but there's an exchange of queens and now black is just a pawn up, yeah? b3. White will take this pawn, I'm guessing. No, but okay, now black is comfortably ahead now. He will take this pawn as well, and then his connected pass pawns will just win the game for him. Yep, now white wins this quite comfortably, I think. Rook takes a2, surely, yeah? Rook to g4. Now the king goes to c5. Okay, this works as well. It's going to take a lot to not to win this position. Jing Yao is very clinical when it comes to converting such endgames. It's going to take a lot to really mess this up. I don't think he's going to. Yeah, rook a3, very nice move. Just cutting the king off from the third rank. Oh, but he blundered now. He just blundered. Right when I'm sorry, man. Like, I think I just you know. Wow. I don't believe this. Wow, I don't believe this, man. I literally just said that it's going to take a lot for Jing Yao to mess this up. I just said it. you know. Okay, but still, why? I mean, he could have played a few moves on, right? Like if I were him. So obviously this position was completely winning for black. And then here, yeah, maybe it's not that straightforward. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Maybe rook to a4. Yeah, maybe rook to a4. And I don't really see what... Okay, so he will go g6 as well. Oh. It's really strangely annoying, you know, this. No, but actually what you can do, you know what? Like, you can go rook to c3. And there's actually no good way for white to make any progress in this position. So the point to play rook c3 is to defend the c6 pawn, and hence after rook takes d7, king takes g6, rook d6, this pawn is defended. So that's the whole point of rook c3. And if the rook goes anywhere along here, I take the pawn. And if rook to g8, which looks really scary because the pawn is marching down, I go king f6. And if g7, I go king f7. I just keep following the pawns. And black wins. So the other idea that white can have is to move the king around, but which is probably the best his best shot. But I mean, even here, like, there's king f6. It's the same thing. And after rook to g8, I basically just leave this pawn alone. I make sure my king is next to it, and then I go, say, I don't know, say d4 here maybe even, yeah. Unless there's g7 here, g7 king here, rook d8 takes. Yeah, no, g7 does d4 doesn't work. So maybe rook to c4. Yeah, still a little bit annoying. No, just rook g3. What am I saying? Just rook g3 and wins. You take this pawn by force. So yeah, rook c3 would be a nice technical way to conclude the game, but it's not that easy, especially in really severe time trouble, and also at the same time, it makes sense that, you know, when the pawn is so close to queen in, you want to put an end to it, to take away the risk attached. You know, intuitively you want to keep the king as close to the last rank as you can, right? To make sure that this pawn never sees the light of at the end of the tunnel. So okay, but I mean, even at the end, I think after king f6, rook takes d7, he just lost he just blundered a bit too. You know, normally when you raise, you pause. Like you make you made a mistake, and then you get ratted, and then you make a second mistake. It happens to almost everyone, yeah. So here, what black should have done is to play king takes g6 and, you know, exit to a draw. This is probably drawn. Okay, you can still play on, but it's very likely drawn. Black can still play and try to win this, but theoretically it's a draw. And then he played rook c3, probably instinctively, and after g7, there's just no way to stop the pawn from queening. Yeah, a very instructive rook endgame. For the longest part of the game, I think Qin Yao played really well, and should have won this. And but credit to Adrian for taking his chance when he came, like spotting this g7, the rook takes d7 resource, and even winning the game. So this is what can happen in Blitz. So a huge win for Adrian, big win for Liang as well, and Jaden Wong continues to impress. Oh, Well, okay. So the next round is already ongoing. So let's keep going. Yeah. So on board one, let's cover this game because I have, these are two players who are both good friends of mine. Robert Suelo taking the black pieces against Adrian Susilo Dinata taking white. Is there a way to turn the point of view to white? There has to be a way like this, right? Only a genius like me can figure this out, how to flip a board on Lee chess. Anyways, so this looks like a very typical Sicilian Scheveningen. I can't pronounce it the Dutch way, so if any Dutch players you are watching this, pardon my pronunciation. Yeah, Sicilian Nidor Scheveningen, whatever you call it. So where white, this is the typical pawn structure, and white goes g4, g5. Generally, he wants to play queen to h4, rook to f3. So Adrian is a player with a very distinct attacking style. He doesn't hold back, very, very direct. He goes for the opponent's king. He loves tactical positions. And he excels in this position, so it sort of makes sense for him to play like this. Suelo is also a very tactical player as well, so this is bound to be a very exciting game. Yeah, I'm not convinced by White's initiative at this point in time. Black does have a couple of isolated pawns, but these factors don't really matter at this point because Black's pieces are really active. The rook is well placed on e8. There's a very inviting square on e4. I would really want to bring my knight to the e4 square as soon as I can. Yeah, but still, this position is still very complex because the one redeeming factor for white is that there are some chances to play for an attack on the king side. So things like some f5, h4, h5. I'm expecting these moves to come very quickly. So for instance, here rook takes e4 and then followed by f5. You have to try something like this now. Turkey Farm is saying that the rook on c1 was very passive. Yeah, but normally passive pieces, you still can improve them, so that those, you know what they say about, what is the exact quote, that they are never really weak pieces, because pieces can still improve their positions, as the game goes on, but that there can only be like weak structures, like pawn structures, because it's much more difficult to change it. So as I predicted, kingside attack going on, very typical of Adrian. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, because now maybe if there's some g6, I have always queen h4, queen h6. No, this pawn is really strong now on e2. I'm not convinced by white's position at all. In fact, I think he's almost lost. Unless he has a way to capture this e2 pawn. Which I don't think so, actually. Queen c6 is kind of strange. I can just take it, right? King f1. You have to go king f1. Oh my god. I'm missing all these tactical shots that yeah, black can resign now. But I mean, definitely queen c6 is a huge blunder. Like you shouldn't give away the pawn. The e pawn is like, your pride and joy. Like, why do you just give it up without a fight, right? So I mean, he's just playing on for inertia's sake. But I mean, this position, even if queen takes f3 doesn't work, what I'm trying to say was that, white can go king f1, and I still don't see like what black is trying. So there was a way. I think he could have gone maybe queen c4, and if bishop e3, at least I have queen g4 check. Yeah, actually queen g4 check wins. So the point being that, sure, white can win a pawn, but white needs to put a knight on f6 and h6, which is a little difficult given that he has no knights left on the board. And the king is sort of stuck on g8, but there are no immediate back rank tricks. So he could possibly improve his position by playing queen to d3 with an idea of playing knight to f3. So I thought that this position would have been a little bit difficult for white to navigate. I mean, or maybe it's possible to defend this, but just doesn't seem to be very easy to defend, at least from a practical sense. So black is playing on. Maybe he's playing for stalemate, which is possible, but nah, it's not possible. Pawn is on f7. Okay, now it's mate. Time to resign, bro. So Adrian wins, goes into the lead. Jaden Wong playing against Li Yang. And we have our sponsor, Chang Jie, on 8th position, 4.5 out of 6 on the top 10. Like, before the tournament, he was telling me that he'll be grateful to be on 50%, but I just told him that it's nonsense. Like, yeah, you're going to do way better than that. So let's take a look at that one. I think it's, from a tournament point of view, I think it's going to be quite interesting. So let's do a material count. What is a pawn up? He might win a second pawn actually, but okay, black is threatening rook c8, which I cannot quite see what's going on. King f6. Bishop d5, I guess. So white has 2 pawns for the exchange. Realistically, I think black has some chances to win this, but I think it's probably drawn. But okay, for sure, only black can win this now. That's definite. But the last time I said something like that, we all know how it turned out. I guess anything can happen. Yeah, Jaden is in great shape, I have to say. Could he have taken on why not take on f5? Really strange. Now push a6. Oh wait, he has won the exchange back. a6. Bishop b7. It feels like, okay, white is definitely out of the woods, and he could be even winning here, yeah. Black is in almost zugzwang. He can go king to c4, but yeah, okay, white wins. White is winning now because the rook is just hopelessly trapped on the a7, and he will maneuver his king up. Yeah, very, very lucky escape by the legend, but he's going to win this. It's going to take too much time for the king to go to b6, take this off, and then run back to stop the g pawn. So it's not going to happen. Wait a minute. This is drawn. Wow. Wow, great save by Jaden. This is drawn. So I'm pretty sure that the position was winning just now. But yeah, fantastic save by Jaden, because the queening square is an opposite color to the light square. So now the position is drawn. Wow. Great save by Jaden. And also from a tournament perspective as well. Fantastic save. But I mean the position is definitely winning. And I'll show why. I think, at least. Very, very well played by both players. Yeah, I think this position 100% is winning. Yeah, here. I think you have to go G4. You go G4 and you win. Yeah, that's it, Unless you get caught in some kind of... No, the nice thing about this position is there's maybe it's not so straightforward. Here, King G2. So the point is after King F2, King D3, and I'm like in some weird opposition. But maybe King to G2. And the point is, now if here, I come here. This is a little bit complicated, so pardon me. So my point is I want to get my king out, and this bishop is covering the whole diagonal, and the black is not able to maintain opposition for that reason. So for example, say king to d4, I go king e2. He can't play king e4 because the square is covered. And now whenever he goes, stay here, I come up, and then eventually I will move my way up to f5. So for example, like this. I will keep getting opposition and black can't really stop this. So, but this would have been a very nice way to finish the game, like king g2, moving in the backwards direction and only to come forward later. So say king here, I will go king to f1, for example. There's just no way to maintain the opposition. Yeah, the other idea, which is a little bit more obscure, and I don't think it works, by the way. Like king h4 sack. I don't know about h4 sack because here he will try the same stuff with this. And then if black kings reaches f8, it's the same thing. So yeah, h4 would like h4. The h4 sack was probably a mistake, I think. Can you show king e1, king c5 line? So king f2, hang on, king g2, king e3. Where? You mean here, king c5? Turkey farm is asking. King to e3. I'm way ahead. I have so many moves up, so yeah, like I have king f4. So here, you mean here, king f4? I go king f2, and you are forced to retreat, and then I keep advancing. So there's just no way to maintain this. Like the black king just can't stop the white king from progressing. Without the bishop, definitely, but because the bishop controls very important squares, black is not able to keep the opposition. Yep, so very nice game, very instructive. And which also means that we have our first clear leader, Andrian Susilo Di Nata, followed by Jaden Wong and Su Liang, Siddharth, Jing Yao, Ethan Po, Nima Javanbak, Daniel Chan, and a host of other players on 5 out of 6. So let's take a look at this game. Yeah, he doesn't actually need to get to the corner really. He needs to get to he needs to get to the corner. Uh, but if he gets to f8 in time, I mean, yeah, if you get to f8 and my king gets to h7, then it's fine. But normally you are not able to. Like for example on g6, your king, my white king must be on g6 by then, and you go, say bishop to b3, cutting him off. But I think intuitively I feel black should have enough time for that. So anyway, let's move on to the tournament. So Jaden playing. He's sinking into a long thing here, actually. But isn't this a very standard position, or am I disconnected? I hope I'm not disconnected. E4, very interesting move. Okay, I understand why he's calculating now, because he's thinking d4, d4, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e4. And then this bishop is hanging, but so is this rook. So white goes rook to d2, and there's a pin. So this was what he was calculating. And if bishop f3, and one of these pieces hang, yeah? So sorry for all these arrows. Like I'm not trying to do a hikaru here. But okay, I mean, if I don't take on e4, then there's always this e4 to e5, forking the pieces. So probably black has to go bishop g4. So somewhere black has to go bishop g4. And if e5 does not work because I can take, and this knight is pinned. Yeah, probably bishop g4 and taking the knight makes the most sense now, because the pawns are placed on light squares. So generally, the rule is that, you know, when the pawns are all fixed on light squares, you might want to... Okay, but now he takes with the bishop, which is a little bit more interesting, I think. I feel that it's a bit risky, but maybe it works concretely. Both players have spent a minute calculating this as compared to my, like, 10 seconds. So, yeah, Turkey, you just pointed out the line, yeah? So in order for this to make any form of sort of sense, you have to take the bishop. Else, if not, why are you doing this? So knight takes e4, and then it is really risky. I don't know. I feel, say rook e1. I think this is completely unnecessary. Yeah, queen d4 there is perhaps knight df6, which protects this and blocks the path to g7. But here rook e1 looks quite good actually. And the point is that rook e1, let's say black goes knight df6, then he can go bishop takes f6, knight takes f6, and then rook to d2. Again with the same idea of pinning against this bishop down the d file. Okay, instead white goes knight h4, which works in a similar way. So now bishop takes f6 and then rook d2, just wins a piece. Yeah, I completely don't understand this. Like, intuitively, this is just so risky. There was no reason to go into these complications at all. Yeah, rook e1 also. I think bishop takes f6 is just more straightforward. Bishop takes f6, knight f6, and rook d2 just wins a piece. So, but okay, I mean, I still understand, like, why, or maybe objectively it is the best move. Maybe, I don't know. Because now rook e4, where's the knight going? Wherever you go, I go rook d2, and I get the same stuff. Yeah, so position is lost. This is just so risky. Like, he definitely should have done it. Should have gone bishop g4 and just play a longish game. Maybe he didn't want to give away the bishop pair so cheaply, but he doesn't really have... I don't think it's that bad, firstly, like objectively, and secondly, he doesn't have a choice. because this just loses. Now this is so hopeless, man. Yeah, very impressive game by Jaden. He is making a mockery out of his 2300 rating, because on Lichess is considered to be, it's not exactly considered to be high if you look at the ratings from the Masters. So Jaden is definitely holding his own here. So I expect this game to finish. Nope, no back rank. F3 or something, whatever. He has to be a bit careful though. Like don't be careless and start losing pawns. Okay, but yeah, I think even with 20 seconds, he should win this comfortably. So black has just one pawn for the bishop. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to avoid. Now he has his pawns on back squares, like 4 isolated pawns. Like in the long run, this shouldn't matter. But yeah, okay. Now there's rook e7, rook takes b7, and the game is just hopeless now. Doesn't matter to have 5 isolated pawns when there are extra pawns. A7, yep, game over. Well played. Jaden moves into sole leadership, same as I am Tahan Liang. He won his game as well. So the two joint leaders who have drawn against each other are now in the clear lead. And Ethan Poe, young player, 15 years old, one of our best young players, in close pursuit, 6 out of 7. Same as Andrian Jingyao, who has recovered from his earlier defeat. Nima, Qian Yun, Xiang Yi, and Invincible Lexi. Let's check this guy out. Oh, Benjamin Fu. Yeah, okay. Cool, man. So Benjamin Fu is also quite an experienced player. We were roommates and teammates at the Baku Olympiad in 2016. So definitely a very strong, tricky player on 5 out of 7. Sidaf on 5 out of 7 as well. JGYJ. Jonathan Goh. Paper clips. Of all the stationery you could have chosen, you chose paper clips as your handle. Fangkun. I don't remember that as as your user. I thought it was something else. But anyways. And Ming Kong as well on 5 out of 7. Kaisa 56, that's I am Chan Ping Kong, also climbing up the board. So yeah, there you have it. I think the top 20 players includes most of our best players from the starting lineup. So very interesting. So I guess Jaden and Liang will be paired against one of the 6 pointers. I expect Jing Yao to be right at the very top, challenging the 2 leaders. He has not played either of them, so definitely he will be right up there. It'll be very interesting to see how Jaden continues. By the way, so we are 2 minutes away. I think it's a good time to share our anti-cheating measures. obviously as the tournament is reaching its conclusion, we have to emphasize that this has been already explained to all the participants in the separate chat room by the arbiters, but I will just share what we have here. How should I do this? Okay, let me just open it. Yeah. So the font is kind of small because we were trying to squeeze everything into the same, into one slide. So we have all the players on Zoom video turned on, and that we are definitely going to be doing post-game analysis for all the players, and just to check whether there is any possible indication that the player has been using external assistance for their games. We reserve the right to report any suspected players to FIDE. In particular, Professor Kenneth Regan, who is FIDE's advisor for such matters pertaining to anti-cheating. And we will only announce the final lineup. I mean, definitely we will announce the final ranking at the end of the tournament, but this will be subject to, again, post competition checks. And so you should not deem this to be final until the post checks have been completed. And we will announce this on our various platforms, such as on Facebook and also on the Chess Against COVID website. So that's it. Let me delete this. And we are up. So Tin Jingyao on board 1 playing against Jaden Wong. So let's take a look at that one. So Jingyao definitely needs to win this game in order to get back into title contention. If he loses this game, his hopes will be really severely take a huge dash. He definitely needs to win this game, and we see a very aggressive Benoni, which Jingyao is very familiar with himself because he used to play Benoni growing up. He likes to play the modern mainline variation where after d6 white goes h3, and now Jaden goes into a think. So h3 now, and the main line goes b5. Yes, b5. And my impression of this line is that it is a very long theoretical variation, and that it has been more or less worked out to be a draw. So but I mean, I personally don't really enjoy playing these positions as black. So even though the theoretical evaluation is that black is holding his own, but I think he has to defend a slightly worse position. So it'll be interesting to see how both players do and handle this. So now white will go knight to c4 at some point, pressurizing the d6 pawn. The white bishop go to f4. And black's sort of lagging behind in development because his queen side is still I just don't like this position for black, even though objectively he might be fine. This position, this just looks bad. Like, how do you defend d6 now? The knight comes to e8, there's knight b6, and black resigns. Knight b6? Like, what? I mean, straight out from the opening, and you win the exchange. I mean, there is some compensation for black. So black's pieces can potentially become really active. For example, knight to d7 to b6, attacking these two pawns. Knight to c7 as well. Yeah, so knight c7 now. I think it's quite good, I think. But still, he's really asking for a lot from his position, given that he is now one pawn down on top of the exchange. And then white will eventually be able to start pushing his a pawn. So black's pieces are hyperactive, but I think with some control, black should convert this quite comfortably. Let me get a drink. I think Jin Yao is really hating me now because I think he just made a mistake. I'm not sure where this bishop is going. So if bishop g3, bishop takes b2 is a huge problem because let's just show this variation. Bishop to g3, bishop takes b2, rook to b1, knight to c3, and there's a fork. So white has to play queen to d2, but I think I can take on b2 eventually at some point. Like for example, after knight takes f4, followed by bishop takes b2. But the good thing for white is that even though he loses his bishop pair and he loses the b2 pawn, at least he manages to exchange one of the most active pieces on the board, which is the d5 knight. So it can be considered to be a relative success for him. So I still feel that white should win this, but black certainly has play. Still very sharp. I'm surprised that black is getting so much play, because you start to push the d and c pawns, and I'll be quite nervous as white. Now bishop goes back to g7, I guess. Okay, bishop c3. Maybe he wants to make sure that the king gets the escape square, but it's susceptible to attacks in the future. It's kind of risky to put this piece here hanging. But I can see some blunder, some f5 and queen c4 check, picking up the bishop, something like that. No, but definitely the position is not as straightforward as I thought it should be. For example, after the position after knight b6, I just thought it's going to be lost. Now bishop g7. So white has to be really careful. His trump card right now is this pawn. He cannot afford to lose this pawn. Any form of pawn exchanges, for example, trading this and this pawn would be a really bad deal for him, because the resulting positions will be quite close to a draw. Yeah, this position is just kind of tricky still, yeah? I suppose he wants to go bishop c6 to change the bishop, so queen c8 makes some sense, I guess. Yeah, I will go queen c8. Yeah, queen c8 played, stopping bishop c6, preparing queen to b7. Yeah, not easy, man. Bishop b7 now. You must go bishop b7. So I think his idea is that if the queen comes here, I will force the exchange anyways. Well, yeah, okay. So stopping the exchange. It's really important that black keeps this bishop, because it controls this pawn's queen in square on a8. It's really important to keep this bishop, because once these bishops are exchanged, all black's hope of counterplay is over. But now he wins the a2 pawn by force. Does he? Does he win the pawn by force? Now Jaden is doing very well now. Like he's really turning it on. And now queen a2. now bishop e6. Black is winning here. Black is winning here, guys. Oh, okay, now it's drawn. Rook takes d4 and it's drawn. Okay, now position is drawn. Bishop d4 was a mistake. Jing Yao refuses to exchange queens. He wants to keep playing on, but objectively this position is just drawn. But why bishop? Like, I don't understand the decision just now. Yeah, this is the guys. They are just playing on, but this is drawn now. There's no point playing this this position anymore. Jing Yao wants to make a few more moves and to see what happens, but yeah, it's impossible to mess this up. Surely, like, I can't possibly cause I can't jinx this position, I think, even by my standards. So maybe they will play like 100 moves and stop everyone from playing the next round. That's what I would do, actually. Alright, draw a great save by Jaden, but yeah, I'll jump to the rankings in a while, but let me just take a look at these positions for like. I'm really surprised that this position generated so much counterplay for black, because if this position is good for black, then the whole line is probably just useless for white. It cannot be like this position has to be more or less winning. But okay, I understand that it's not easy to convert this in Blitz. Yeah, really strange. Maybe Queen A4, knight to B6. I don't know. It's too complicated for me. Yeah, but here I think after he took the pawn, black should be trying to realistically, try to win this position. Yeah, bishop d4 is. Yeah, I'm trying to see how I can consolidate this position, but okay, I think I understand why. Like, because white is going f4 here. Maybe queen to b2 instead. Queen to b2. Threatening to change queens. So I would really want to change queens here, because after that I will slowly push my pawns forward. And in any case, black has no chance of losing this position, so he should try something, right? So bishop d4 was like essentially a draw offer. Instead, queen b2 I think would have been really strong. Going d5, c4, etc. So white will have to keep queens for a long period to have some chances of holding this, but yeah, I can say I think Jaden missed a chance. I think he should try to win. He should have tried to win this position and continue the pressure. And Liang has won his game, so now the legend is leading the tournament. Clear for 7.5 out of 8. Let's see how this game continue. He beat Nima Javanbak. Very important game. In the fight for first place. So a Queen's Gambit. Looks very quiet. Nothing much is going on. Liang, I think, has the white pieces. Yeah, what is going on in this position actually? Like I thought that the Queen's Gambit accepted positions are kind of dull, like, but why are there these sort of tactics flying around? Knight d6. Yeah, and suddenly white has a little something. Yeah. But this is what Liang does to people, you know. He gets safe, you know, harmless looking positions, and when you least expect it, he pulls out something. So now this position is already very unpleasant for black, even though early on it does seem like the position seems relatively safe. So the easiest way to play this position, I think, is to just play bishop takes d6 followed by rook d8. Yeah, take, change these pieces off. Yeah, I don't know, feels quite safe to me. Probably black should be able to hold this. Oh, but actually black. Oh wait, what's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, firstly, I'm getting disconnected from VChat, which is kind of unfortunate. What a game. What is going on in this game? No, Liang actually won this. So I got the colors mixed up. I thought Liang was white because it was showing as in this direction. So I thought this position was better for white, to be honest. Like, I really thought this was better for white. But suddenly, like, black's play just came through. Like, how is this? How did black get so much counterplay here? Because it just looks good for white, no? Or he underestimated this bishop h4 idea, which is a move that Liang really enjoys playing, bishop h4. So maybe rook to a7 now. Maybe rook to a7, just fine. Yeah, very strange. And then suddenly black is winning material. Very impressive win actually. Because even this position, it just feels like white shouldn't lose this, intuitively. What a position, man. Fantastic. And then you can trust Liang to convert this position. Well played. Well played. Okay, so tournament goes on. Ethan Po taking white against Liang with black. It's a French defense, bishop d3 variation. We have to keep following Liang's games now because he's the sole leader, and we want to see the results of his games will be very critical to the overall standings now. So this line is a line, this bishop d3 line is a really tricky line recommended by Grandmaster Avidik Grigoryan on his popular website chessmood.com. It's really tricky. I think the only problem for white is that we have actually discussed this line extensively with Liang before, and we even played training games, so he definitely knows what's going on in this line. So mass exchanges, and yeah, white has won a pawn, but his queenside pawn structure is damaged. I think the practical chances lies with white now. If white could exchange off a pair of rooks to sort of reduce the possibility of counterplay. So let's turn it around. Yeah, this position looks very attractive for white in my opinion. I don't know. Because if black goes knight b4, a3, knight to a6, this knight is really passive on the a6 square. Knight c3 plate. Probably more or less the only move. Maybe black can hold this, but he will have to play precisely. And the knight is tricky. Always tricky, especially in blitz. E-turn is ahead on, 1 minute ahead of time at this point, so definitely very unclear situation. So I can tell you that our team of arbiters, as we are going through the games live, our team of arbiters is really looking carefully and intensely at all the players. A lot of activity in the chat and discussion going on. Some players are really well dressed. There's a discussion on giving away some prizes for best dressed players. Okay, but let's go back to the game. So now the position has sort of liquidated, and okay, so white is a pawn up, but it is a he's actually he has a couple of passed pawns actually, but they are doubled. Now he's 2 pawns down. I think he forgot to take on a2 because now it just looks like he's almost lost, and he will need to count on his his active a rook, which is sort of restricting white's rook on b2 because the rook has to be around to defend this a pawn. So I'm not quite sure how white can make progress at this point. Maybe this is drawn. Yeah. I don't quite see how white can make progress. He can try like rook b8, rook g8, stuff like this, I guessed. Now rook d7 and back, I'm guessing. King c3, pre-move. Very, very risky pre-move there. What if black goes rook takes a2? Very, very risky. Okay, Ethan is trying, which of course he should because he's 2 pawns up. But how is white supposed to make progress really? I don't see it. Now rook b3. You don't want to give this pawn. Takes. Very, very cagey affair right now we are having. You know what? I mean, if I'm black now, I will try something. I'll even try to win this position because I've gained some progress from the previous, from being 2 pawns down. I now have stabilized my position. Now rook c8. King c5. Black is defending for his life. I don't like e5 because it gives away the f5 square. Liang needs to try to hold this at least to maintain his lead. Squeaky bum time now. King e4. Oh, but there's rook a4. King d5. Ethan has made tremendous progress in the position, and it feels like he's very close to winning this. Rook e6 has to be played now, I believe. You have to go rook e6, threatening this. Oh, rook e6, rook d3, and rook d4, and followed by king d7. Wow. Wow. King c7. Okay, now it looks like there's a good chance to draw this position now. Yeah, this position looks drawn now because after king to g3. Yeah, rook to c3. Yeah, this is drawn now. Very, very good save by Liang. Very, very impressive, I have to say, because that position is so difficult to play. G5. Still not over. Still not over. Because now he wants to go G6. I don't believe this. G6? King f5? Playing with fire. f4? Rook g2? Or rook g5? Looks like Ethan is winning this, yeah? Wow. Big win. What a big win for in terms of the tournament, from a tournament point of view. But I think the position is very close to drawn. Or if not just outright drawn, this position. Great win by Ethan. Unfortunate loss for the legend. Yeah, so let's take a look at this position. How should we try to hold this? Because I don't think he really did anything wrong here. So, pushing the pawns. King here. F4. Rook A7. So this position, yeah? White is threatening to go simply G7, H6. So maybe rook to G2. King F1, F3. Maybe this is the way to try to bring counterplay. You have to push the pawns at some point in your life anyway. What happens? Let's see the evaluation. Yep, drawn. So at least I get one assessment correct. Yeah, this is the way to draw. Even after this, I feel like G7, there's still, like, even here, rook G2, king here, and how? How is this winning? Still drawn, yeah? Okay, the computer says king d1. So maybe after rook g2, yeah, so definitely you need to go rook g2. Okay, so Wachowski's suggested king f6. Okay, it's quite a simple way to stop g7 actually. And after rook f7, and the fantastic move king g5. Yeah, okay, this is kind of hard. Very, very difficult to find, especially in blitz. Because after king e5, g7, yeah? Okay, whatever. I mean, the com will find ways, find methods to draw this, but I thought the easiest to go is to go rook g2, f3, and to force white into making concessions, and then all the pawns will be exchanged. Very, very difficult loss for Tahan. And now it means that Ethan is in the clear lead with 8 out of 9. What a performance by Ethan. Liang on second position, Tin Jingyao on third. So Jingyao is still in with a shout. Jingyao will play, no, Xiang Yi will play Ethan on board 1, and Liang plays Jingyao on board 2. So the title will be won by one of these 4 players, most likely. So which one should we look at? Let's look at board 1. Since Ethan is the one that has the chance to win the tournament outright. By winning this game, he wins the tournament outright. So we are looking at the King's Indian attack, one of Xiang Yi's favorite opening systems. You can blitz out the first 10 moves blindfolded. Maybe not blindfolded, but you know what I mean. But yeah, e4, black goes d4 or bishop e7, very standard positions that Xiang Yi really enjoys playing. Bishop e7 played. So now there is a chance of playing like e takes d5, knight to c4, putting pressure on the e5 pawn. Black normally plays f6 to support it. Yeah, queen d3, rook to e1, I guess. I would like black's position a lot more if the pawn is on c7, by the way. Like, I don't like the pawn on c5 for some reason. Okay, for one good reason, and that's the d5 square is a lot weaker when the pawn is on c5. So Xiang Yi enjoys playing these positions. He is definitely in his element right now. This is like home to him. But I think the positive aspect for black is that he has not castled. So there is a chance of one day playing h5 to weaken the king side. And he can even go long castle, the knight goes to e8 to d6. Yeah, I quite like his chances, to be honest. I quite prefer black here because of the flexibility of this position right now. Now he's threatening knight takes e4. If Xiang Yi is not careful, he might just lose the game and the tournament like right away. So queen to e1 seems... Okay, queen f3 played. You know, some tactics, rook takes d2 does not quite work, I think. No, but does it? No, it doesn't work, yeah? Rook takes d2, bishop e4, and queen to d1. So let's do these arrows again. Here, 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 yeah. Here, attacking this, and then the queen comes to d1, defending this. I'm not as good as arrows as Hikaru, as you can see. Yeah, but the tactic looks optically very attractive, but it doesn't quite work. But this position looks very promising for black. In terms of the fact that he's able to get active play. Queen a4 is a strange one though. What if b3? Or is he trying to provoke b3 for some reason? White doesn't bite. He plays knight e3. I'm curious to know what happens after b3 because it doesn't it just gain the tempo? Or maybe he was trying to weaken c3 for the idea of going to d3 later. So knight to e3, he has an idea of going knight to d5 or maybe to f5, which is not that preferable. Yeah, I think the problem with rook d8 is that now there's no longer any opportunity to castle long. And I really like this regrouping with knight e8 to d6. This bishop might be able to come to g5, which is a very nice diagonal, controlling the dark squares, and then you go h5 and you go for the win on the king side. Like, because realistically speaking, if you want to win the tournament, you should try to win this game. Even though maybe a draw might get you there. So let's keep an eye on this one. Very complicated position, like d5. Sacrificing the pawn. What is this? Oh, no. White is threatening a4. Black has to be very alert. Castle's good move. Because bishop takes g5 loses on the spot to a4. Bishop takes g5, a4. The queen has no good squares. Because the queen a6. No. You don't even have to play a4. What am I saying? I just go knight c7 and take the queen. Yeah. I was trying to be fanciful and proving a point that whatever I do, I can even afford to waste a move and still take the queen. So bishop f1. Is the queen getting trapped now? Okay, c4, minimum. My queen runs to c5. Now we enter into all this tactical mess that is right in Xiang Yi's wheelhouse. Yeah, knight c7. I know. Don't clip that. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the final round of the very first Yuhua CSC speed chess tournament, and we are on board 1. Liu Xiangyi playing white, half a point behind the leader. Ethan Po taking the black pieces. I went to a little brain freeze there, trying to figure out whether there's a way to trap the queen. I couldn't find a way. I mean, I can go b3, queen takes a2, rook here, queen takes b3, rook here, and then the queen is in the dodgy position. Queen comes to c2 and then bishop d3. But it doesn't work, I think. I just feel it doesn't work. So, for example, after queen takes... Okay, now things are a bit different. Yeah, I think... No, this could be lost now. Now rook b1. Isn't the queen trapped? Is the queen trapped? Ah man, Xiang Yi wins this game. Very unfortunate for the boy. So I'll come back to that critical position later on in the while this game is still continuing. But I feel that there was a way to hold the position. As in not lose the queen. And if you don't lose the queen in that position, you win basically. Knight d5. He just has a rook for the queen. And with a lot of time for Xiang Yi. It would take really serious jinxing to ruin this. Okay, now it's over. Resigns. Very, very important win. So I wanted to point out that the critical position. Yeah, this is what Xiang Yi can do. Like in this tactical mess, he can find like funny stuff like this. So instead of queen to c2, queen takes. Let's go to the board. I'm very excited to see what's going on in the other position, but after takes, rook here. I was trying to figure out whether knight d4 saves the position, but maybe it doesn't. does it. I was trying to figure out whether knight d4 works here. And where does your queen go? He has to go to a square that allows for bishop d3. Where? Queen e3? Yeah, looks like still wins, yeah? Still wins. I was thinking knight c2 and so on, but still wins. Because now queen c2, bishop d3. You know what I thought? Like, I thought there was queen d2, but there wasn't because the knight defends d2. Any tricks here? I don't see tricks. Yeah. So b3 wins probably, yeah? After b3. Was there a save? I mean, instead of queen takes a2. So queen takes a2 loses, probably. Okay. And Li Yang has won his game against Jing Yao. Wow, what a game! And Li Yang has won the tournament apparently. Clear first, not clear first, tied first with I am Liu Xiangyi. So almost all the games are over. We have the final standings. I am Su Liang, the legend, turning in a legendary performance, even though he lost a really important game. Let's take a look at that one. I think it's so important that we should analyze this one. So Jing Yao plays the Bogo Indian, which is one of his main openings. But to anybody who wants to play against Li Yang in the future, let me just say that this is not a good choice. It's not a great choice against Li Yang. There are just some openings that somebody just enjoys playing against more often than not, and this is one of those that Li Yang really enjoys playing against. Yep, white is better here, that's for sure. He has a pass, a pawn. Yeah, there are 11 rounds. Is the tournament over or not? I thought it's over. Oh, there's one more round. I'm really messing up today. I'm really messing up. I'm just being really. There's one more round. There's one more round in 2.5 minutes. I thought the tournament was over. Okay, last round. Thanks for pointing it out. Li Yang in the lead, 8.5 out of 10. Liu Xiangyi also with 8.5 out of 10. Are they going to play with each other? I think. I'm not sure whether they have. I think they're going to play each other. Ethan Po, Nima, Daniel Chan coming with three wins in a row, closely behind. So most likely one of the winners will be either Li Yang or Xiangyi, but the other three players certainly are in with a shout. So we are 1.5 minutes away. One and a half minutes away from the final round, and we'll find out who will win the first prize of $300 cash. Let's also take a look at the rest of the standings. So from the women's section, I think Gong Qianyun is in the lead, as she normally is. 7 out of 10 good chances of winning the top prize for the women. And we see Grandmaster Wong Ming Kong. We see Candidate Master Shashi Jayakumar also in the top 20, doing very well with 7 out of 10. Okay, I'm getting a call from one of my arbiters. so I'm going to have to mute myself for the time being. I'll be back soon. Okay, I'm back. That was basically a few people reminding me that there's one more round, and also at the same time. Okay, but first of all, let's get down to board one. One of these players will win the tournament. I am Liu Xiangyi playing against I am Su Liang. And I can let in onto a little secret here for everybody. In this particular position, e4, e6, b3, d5, d3. So I will share. I will give disclose a little bit of secret. So while we are preparing for the Asian online Asian Nations Cup, the Asian Team Championships, where we were all in the same team, myself, Tin Jingyao, Liang, Xiang Yi, and Grandmaster Bong, Velamayor, we had arranged for secret training games on a different platform. And this position actually appeared in that game. So they played a training game and they already had that position. So I would be very interested to know whether whether either of these players have actually gone to prepare for this event and rechecking that game, knowing that this position might reappear. Which is kind of it's a little bit strange, like who prepares this B3 stuff? But this is a repeat of that training game, and I remember that Liang won a very nice game in that, but it was really very complicated and it could have gone either way. So I'm pretty certain that Xiang Yi remembers that. Both players must have remembered this. So White has sacrificed a pawn. Let's see what's going on here. But he has a small lead in development in the sense that his rook is very active on g3. Black castles into it, not believing in his activity, which is really brave, because the bishop on b2, you can see that there's potential damage on g7. So what is a few ideas here? For example, knight to f4, maybe somewhere trying to bring the knight to h5 and then followed by this knight to e4. But black is not without chances as well. And he's a pawn up. White's problem right now is trying to bring this bishop into play. b4. Well, it's hitting up. Like he's playing in a very energetic way. He wants to bring his knight to e4. He's really going out, to try to win this game. Queen f3, attacking the rook. I don't see any other move apart from rook b8. But what is so rook to b8 and then bishop to d3 or something, I don't know. But black has knight e5, black has bishop b7. So even though white's position looks quite promising, his pieces are sort of ominously placed on the king side. Black has the potential to sort of spring out from his slightly passive setup, like with bishop b7 and knight to e5, moves like this. So now bishop b7, and I don't quite see what's the main idea here for white. Bishop d3, I see. Yeah, very, very strange position, really. But black has managed to bring all his pieces. White has managed to bring all his pieces onto the king side. Definite compensation. I mean, it goes without saying that whoever wins this game, like, completely deserves to win the tournament. So now, I think Liang is trying to figure out whether it's safe to liquidate pieces. I'm not 100% certain about the tie breaks, but I believe if Liang makes a draw, he wins the tournament as well. So that puts him under a bit more pressure. And at the bottom, we actually can see the lifetime score between the two players, at least using these two handles on the chess, and the score is heavily in Liang's favor. So everything is pointing towards a successful encounter for black. Bishop d6, very interesting move. Opening up the a square for the queen to come to the defense of the black's king side. Wait, that's there. I don't know whether the bishop f7 works. Probably it doesn't. But this is just so provocative. King to g7, going into the firing, jumping straight into the line opposite the diagonal for the bishop. But it seems like he has everything figured out. That I don't see a clear way for white to break through. f4. Xiang Yi is not holding back. He is just doing everything he can and throwing everything at black's position. But as far as I see, black is still holding on really solidly. King b1, a sign that maybe he has rook to d2, very intense position right now. Bishop takes b4, rook d8, rook takes d8. Bishop f6. Liang blunders, and the game is over. White wins. Xiang Yi has won the game, and he wins the tournament. Wow! So bishop takes b4, a very serious blunder that loses a rook, and the loses the rook, the game, and the tournament outright. So let's take a look at this position. Like at the end of the day, like black is playing so provocatively that in the end he fell to a pretty straightforward tactic. But it's also quite understandable because these are tricks waiting to happen. With these two like monstrous bishops operating down the long diagonal. So let's take a look at this position. So congratulations to International Master Liu Xiangyi, who I think is in China right now, I believe. Yeah, this is being analyzed by players right now, and rightly pointed out that after e4, rook d2, that bishop takes b4 is a huge blunder. You have to play queen to e8 apparently. But okay, it is not straightforward at all because the position is still very difficult for at least from a practical point of view, that you need to manage against the bishop pair. Why not fe5 instead of king b1? fe5, bishop takes e5, and there is going to be a I see. I see what you mean. Oh, but there's a queen a1 check at the end. So I think what Joshua was asking is after f e5, bishop e5, if rook takes d8, I have bishop takes b2, an intermediate move. And after bishop takes e5, queen takes e5. And it looks like white is winning a rook, but it doesn't. It's actually not the case because here white has the important move queen a1 check. And after king to d2, rook takes d8. And black even wins this position. So this does not work. King b1, very clever move to sort of steps away from the firing line, controls a1. There's no longer going to be any queen a1 tricks. And yeah, this position looks... I mean, the com can say that this is winning for black, but in practice, this is very difficult to manage. And I can sort of understand why in the end Liang blundered with bishop before, especially under severe time trouble. So once again, a huge win for Liu Xiangyi, winning the tournament outright. And congratulations to Ethan Po for a very successful tournament as well. He finishes second, beating Daniel Chan. 9 out of 11, fantastic score for the young player. Liang finishes on third, Tin Jingyao on fourth, Siddharth Jagadish fifth, and Drian on sixth. Yeah, we basically see all the top seeds sitting around. I have to say that there are still some games going on, so these are not final yet. JGY 1, 2, 3. So Jonathan Goh finishes on a very creditable 8 out of 11 as well. Very good score. Nima Javan Bak on finishing on 8th, and followed by Daniel Tan and Dragon 58. I can't remember, man. I'm sure I mentioned him. Dragon 58 and Teo Hong Ming. Very creditable performance as well. I actually made a draw with the guy at the recent Nationals. So definitely a very good player as well. So there you have it. Congratulations to Liu Xiangyi again, winning the tournament outright. It's a very, very strong and tough field. And actually the one loss that he had was against Jing Yao in that position where if you remember that he lost on time when he had the king and the rook versus a knight. He had the king, rook, and pawn versus a knight, and he still won. He lost on time, I mean. So a fantastic performance. Definitely a very deserving winner of this tournament. Right. So there's one last game going on, and which black would probably win with his extra rook. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to... Alright, so firstly, let me just clarify that the prizes, and the final rankings are not finalized. Meaning to say they're not finalized, as in this. We still have to go through the post-tournament checks. Yeah? And right now, the next thing we are going to do is that we will be doing the lucky draw. That was why one of my teammates called me up. I'm told to... Sorry guys, give me a second. I'm actually told to do something now. Alright, so thanks very much everybody. I'm going to be joining a Zoom call with the participants. Maybe I can even do it live if it works. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks very much everybody. Thanks to all the viewers for staying for the last 3 hours and watching me talk about chess. And congratulations to all the participants. I'm going to be joining a call right now with all the participants um, separately. So thanks very much once again. Thanks for tuning in. And for more information about our activities, watch out for keep a lookout on my own, my Facebook profile, the Amateur Grandmaster, or chessagainstcovid.com, where we will be releasing more news about Yuhua Chess Club and our upcoming activities. There's going to be a lot of things going on. We're going to have beginner classes. We're going to have, hopefully, once circuit breaker improves, we want to organize over the board tournaments there as well. We want to have more activities. We'll collaborate with other clubs and try to make the local chess scene a little bit more interesting than it already is. So thank you once again to everyone for following, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon.